against the same old classic storyline of trying to fight against ONIC, Omega, for that last spot, they have a good chance of doing so in Season 12. And especially with this lineup, right? With the composition that we've seen for the past 2 weeks, again, I think they have the right the tools that they need to, like in this game, beat Echo.
Yeah.
Right now, the big question as well on everyone's mind, I wonder when Yaoi is going to make a play as well. That's something that a lot of fans are actually been talking about.
Today.
Could be.
Maybe.
Do we see him here? He was there, but we,
I mean, yeah, he was there.
We wouldn't know.
We'll know in a second, but I think...
When they walk out.
Yeah, I think, wasn't it... Didn't they say, though, like, as long as they were winning, as long as things were working for them, they weren't going to change anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now that they had their first loss, that's why I think a lot of people have been talking about it, over the past the last week, really is, we're going to see Yaoi play. I think we've seen him also, if you're following him on social media, you've probably seen him be vocal about it. So
He's so vocal about it. He
is
really
very
wants
vocal.
to play.
He is.
I mean, and again, the question is whether or not Echo will change their winning ways or will they come up Yaoi clutch. We'll find out later on, though. Here comes the teams, though, coming in the stage.
Their streak may be over, but with playoffs upper bracket already locked in, defend the championship. Focus on the goal. They are the champions of the Philippines and the reigning champions of the world, Echo! They're closer than they have ever been to making it back to the playoffs. Hukbo, Tigers, it's time to fire up at oras na para sa MNNE Evos! And our coaches, Coach Tic Tac and Coach Imba DJ. MPL Arena Magingay, and welcome to the first match of week number 6.
Week number 6, and looks like no surprises are coming now today. You got Echo right here, main 5 for you.
No changes here. We still got JP in the roam, so we'll see. We'll see when Yaoi gets to play, but this is the lineup that they have pretty much rostered for the entire season, and it's worked really well for them. Again, that's why they are where they are, and leading into the playoffs, really what they want to do is just secure that top spot.
Yeah, there's no problem with the team, so don't change it. But MNNE Evos, with the changes that they did, specifically on week number 4 and 5, they are now able to adjust accordingly to the patch, to the meta, and this roster has been shining, specifically with Spider Miles being able to capitalize on the support heroes, and I think that's going to be a good matchup against JP, but more importantly, Kaizen matching up against Carl TZ. It is a giant task for MNNE Evos to kind of like solidify the jungle position against the young GOAT.
Yeah, personally, I'm very amazed by the Spider Miles and Kaizen coming in a bit later into this season, and even though they're getting their heroes banned out, they're still making things work for them. And actually super impressed by these kids.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's really a matter of who does the job better. But one important thing to look at in this matchup also is the XP lane, the battle between Lord JMAR and, of course, Sanford. And XP has been really fundamental in terms of objective takes, but we've seen, like, a lot of times Echo just sacrifice XP lane for the sake of using Sanford to amplify the presence of the jungler, because again, Carl DZ, whenever you give him such a good early game, he's able to control the enemy jungle. And I think against Lord JMAR, you can't do that. You can't sacrifice that XP lane because Lord JMAR is gonna punish.
Not only that, but just looking at this chart here, yes, XP lane. I love the XP lane. I love focusing there. But also, just like you mentioned earlier, the jungle, right? Going against who we just showed, Carl TZ's milestones, his accolades, right? They have to be able to control some of those, if not control, contest some of those objectives early on. The Turtles, the Lords. You saw the disparity just between the percentages between those two teams. So that's something that we really want to see MNNE Evos do going against Echo here.
I actually love what Midnight said. Sanford there, I think, is a big reason why, XP laners, they have that turtle lane. And, and Echo has a 71% turtle take contention rate. That is probably direct relation to what happens on the stage, right? So let's find out what else they need to do to win here in the keys to victory.
Well, here are the keys to victory brought to us by Infinix ultra fast gameplay. Now, Echo, they need to play on a faster pace. We've been setting up MNNE Evos to have a good mid to late game. They have been able to perform, especially with a sort of like a Blacklist international composition with the group ups that they are able to do. So Echo needs to be able to play around that. And I think early game is really, really important. That's why they need to play on a faster pace. Not just that, but make sure that you are able to play on a faster pace. That's why XP lane is going to be crucial here. Protection and Sanford. That means rotation coming out from the mid lane, maybe coming out from Sanji and JP. Now for MNNE Evos, if it's early, look for 40. Again, we've seen RSG before utilize the sacrificial XP lane on the side of Echo, and they were able to shut down Sanford and provided them enough room in the early game to make sure that they are able to capitalize in the mid game. That is the main plan here, and that should be the goal of MNNE Evos. If you have an early game composition that can punish, go to the XP lane, look for 40, shut the XP laner of the Orcus down. For both sides, anticipate and get ready for extended engagements. This applies on Turtle and Lord dances. We've all seen Filipino Lord dances. We've seen 2-minute Lord dances. We've seen 4-minute Lord dances. And everybody should be patient, because in this game, whoever takes the biggest objective of the game, which is the Lord, would win the late game end game conditions. And that is why it's really important for them to be patient and anticipate these late game extensions. And those are the keys to victories, again, brought to us by Infinix.
All right, actually, I just had war flashbacks of a few, the XP laners getting punished. I think I actually was on social media and I saw Sanford literally post, "I was not able to play that game when he got consistently killed."
0-3
in the XP lane, right? So you're absolutely right. Whoever wrote that, I was actually on point.
Control him, because I would say any fan of Echo or any fan even of Sanford are watching him.
There you go.
Rise up.
There
Look
he
at
is.
this. Here's the head-to-head. He is such an impact player for Echo, and that's why they've been so successful.
Yeah, and the beauty of this matchup is that they're polar opposites. Like Sanford, he plays for the team. He sacrifices farm. He sacrifices his lane to make sure that he's able to group up with his team. And in contrast, you have Lord JMAR, which is, funnily enough, they are a team that utilizes Ube really, really well when you have the right composition. But Lord JMAR prioritizes XP lane matchups. And we've seen that when they were up against Blacklist International. He was so heavily focused on shutting down Edward, although they did lose that game. But you see the movements, you see the intention. And I think Lord JM has a chance to shine against Sanford here, which is why Echo should look into that XP lane.
I completely agree. I always remember Lord JMAR when I saw his Paquito play. Not so much for the fams, but actually you're right, because comfort pick and he's trying to win the lane, right? So you're right. I think Lord JM, is the hidden gem here. Obviously, Gem's not playing, but he's a hidden gem here of MNNE Evos. And again, it always boils down to making it work with the rest of the team. By the way, Lancy coming into his own here on the lane. I think we have to bring this guy up, right?
Lancey versus Sanji, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
gonna
gonna be an
huge.
interesting matchup because we've seen like Lancey put up an outstanding performance against veterans like Few.
Yeah.
So I think that is gonna be a great matchup considering that although we've seen Lancey he has been able to perform for the past few weeks, but I've never seen him like have a bad game.
Well, we'll find out as you go into the draft. Will Lancey get his Novaria? I think Novaria, he's been playing Novaria like crazy right now. And teams have been ignoring it, and they have been getting punished.
Well, we saw, even if leading into all this before we opened the show, we saw that was one of the highlights from, last week.
Yes.
Him and Domeng. We saw that. Domeng AR. The combination, what do they call it? The Novatrix. The Novatrix
Novatrix,
combination.
Precise kill.
Yeah, they might. Maybe they go for that, right?
Yeah.
But I would say that any team that was, all these teams obviously are going to look at what happened between Echo and RSG, right, last week, and really learn from that game, that series, right? Multiple series there, or that series there, and how they were able to break the streak. I mean, there's a lot to learn, even for us. Like, if you're just your average viewer, you probably learned a lot on what actually works against Echo.
There you go.
There it is.
Echo did learn, they get up that Novaria, considering that Minana was also banned out to Yuzong. So there is that respect between the two of them. Like, Minana Evos does not want to play against Yuzong, even though we've seen that there are cracks in that strategy. Echo, they have stolen the Novaria while also banning out the Claude of Doming AR, and they go back to the standard picks. We go with the Paquito on Sanford. Really outstanding performance as well on that guy. I think Sanford on the Paquito is also a huge threat versus the marksman of Minana Evos, because now you are forced to either go for an Irthel, a Brody, or a Bruno, which is something that Minana Evos has pulled off in the past. So I think with the variation that we have right now, like the draft, it's utmost respect between these two teams.
I love what's happening right now. Literally, Kaizen with the comfort pick on the Akai, then JM being nerfed here with the Paquito pick, and now it's a Florin coming into Minana, throwing some shots of their own.
I mean, it was a question between Florin or the Rafaela, but Minana Evos, they wanted to get the Florin here in the third pick. Now we wonder why. We don't understand fully yet, but maybe they're just hiding the matchups for now, because you have a gold lane that you can pick in the second phase, which can be limited by the second phase bans. And I think Minana Evos does have the upper hand because they are first pick on second phase. Now, looking at the draft index, Vision, of course, is going to go on the side of Echo, but I just want to say, like, early game, in terms of objective takes, especially around the turtle, I think Minana Evos has this in the bag.
For now, even with this first phase, they obviously shine in certain parts of the game, and that could be what they're doing, because like we talked about when we had those two pie charts up, was we know that they need to be able to contest those objectives, those neutral objectives early on against a team like Echo that already has the entire choreography for those fights down to a T.
Yep.
Right? I mean, let's be honest, right? That's why we talked about, and you even mentioned this, breaking it down. The Philippines has the best Lord dances in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Some
Undoubtedly.
of them are super quick. Some of them are. We've seen what, 4 minutes,
4
5
minutes. That was us. That was us three.
That was us. And
It was a crazy game.
Yeah, it can get to that point. So you want to be able to solidify yourself some of that advantage in the first phase of the draft.
I like it.
That's what they go for from Nana. These last bans are coming out though.
Yep. Irthel forced out on the side of Minana Evos. I mean, has been banned out. Brody has been banned out now. You can go for the Bruno, but we've seen Sanford again be comfortable playing into that. So Minana Evos, they go back to the Ixia. Something that we've seen before, especially up against an Akai, which is already a good matchup for Echo. Now you ask yourself the question, do you go for the Rafael on JP? Because you just have an amazing line that can deal with the Ixia. And actually, we've seen this before as well from Minana Evos, where they pick Ixia into a bad matchup. And I think it's just the comfort of Doming AR, and again, the way that they want to play these team fights. But Echo, they have a chance to shut that down. If they pick the Rafaela now for JP, this Ixia is just going to have a hard game, especially from mid to late, because that mobility being given by Rafaela, it's hard for you to focus down the full barrage. But instead, they go with the Cho. I like this 1-1 matchup against Ixia. Not that bad for the Ixia, but definitely a lane that Minana Evos needs to cover.
I was half expecting a Beatrix here for Ben Cutie, but yeah, 1-1 is something that's been highly, I would say, appreciated by a lot of the players right now from a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they make that pick, especially against an Iksha who is also known to have such good range.
Yep.
Which is, I feel like it's so strong because of that, and a lot of people in the ranked games right now agree. They've been actually banning out the Iksha as well. That's
Yeah.
super interesting. So here, I guess comfort is key here for MNNE.
Promise. There you go.
There you go. That's good.
Such a good Promise game. Counters 3 heroes on the side of Echo, like the Akai, the Wanwan Cho. Hard for Echo to actually engage in team fights, but in terms of pick-off, like Echo, they have a huge capability of just picking off somebody on the side of MNNE EVOS, force out that that Nether Realm, and then just allow 1-1 to play in the late game. But one thing that MNNE EVOS has is damage. Like they don't lack team fight. They have a way to initiate. They have a way to play aggressively with that Paramis and Terizla combo. But again, they do have to worry about a 1-1 because lockdown is going to become an issue for MNNE EVOS.
But you know what the thing is about this lineup for MNNE? They don't look at that ISO 2.5, well, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you have healing from Florian and you have the Nether Realm.
The Nether Realm, yeah.
Bro,
The Nether Realm.
who's gonna die here?
They got a lot of sustainability as well.
As
you
long
know?
as they stick together.
Yeah.
Right? That's the key.
We'll see.
So watch out for the smart power prediction here for this game. And at some point in the game, watch out for the lower thirds. A poll will show up and you only have until the timer runs out to comment your prediction with the hashtag SmartPowers MPL S12.
And one lucky commenter who guesses correctly will win a redeemable in-game code. Remember, keep an eye out for the poll.
All right, let's load up into game number 1 of match 1 for the last week of MPL Philippines Season 12 regular season. And again, some very glaring strengths and weaknesses for both sides actually right now. If you think about it for Echo as well.
Very obvious problems for both sides. Like lockdown is of course an issue for MNNE EVOS. Prolonged team fights, they win. But that is also the case for the 1-1, not so much for the other players on the side of Echo, but they do have that strength in the front line because MNNE EVOS does not have burst. So if MNNE decides to front line, it's still hard for MNNE EVOS to fight into that.
Yeah, speaking of fighting of that, look at this. Very aggressive here for MNNE, just making sure they also have control of the mid.
I'm wondering, like, as I look at this MNNE lineup too, you know, how long they need really to get to the point where they are in that damage department. JP gonna get dragged, should be fine. But yeah, I know they're really banking on this Iksha here, especially.
Yeah. Super annoying to play against Florian in the mid lane.
Yeah, they have a really good, anything outstanding for the emblems here?
I mean, of course, the agility coming out from the Terizla with the Festival of Blood. I'm actually curious as to why he did not go for the Wilderness Blessing. Instead, he went for the Festival of Blood. Probably because he's thinking that he is going to soak up a lot of damage in the late game, but that movement speed is really crucial up against Echo. But we'll see if if it comes down to mobility or tankiness for the Terizla.
I actually agree. You might need some of that move speed coming into chasing Benny Cutie, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Ouch, ouch.
Oh, Carl Teasy gonna get poked down quite a bit, dragged back as well. But all this good poking here. That first turtle now coming up. So we'll see if they can actually play around this minor advantage they have. Lord JM also getting a position here. JP and Sanford trying to hold it down while there's still been pressure in the purple buff as well from Lancey. So he's putting the work there. They might just trade this the best they can. Carl T's going to lock him down with a heavy spin top side of the map. Turtle's still going to be worked on here as well. Turtle secured by Kaizen. First blood, though, going to the hands of Sanji there.
Of course, that's going to be a little gold traded back, but as you can see, Lancey's actually back right away because of the passive. So overall, I would still say a win for MNNE. I just don't know how much gold Benny Cutie got on top side. But right now, that's a very interesting trivia. Number 1 in most games won. He's literally the winningest now.
Yeah, he's a walking accolade at this point.
Yeah.
Like he is a library of achievements.
Woo! Wow, there
That
you
was
go.
a good pickup.
Full barrage, right?
Yeah, that went in the hands of Domeng, so good pickup there on the top side. MNNE EVOS looking for more ways to get an advantage here. Now, the big question again is, you know, how long does it take for Domeng to get where he needs to be on the Iksha? Well, getting this early kill already helps him quite a bit here.
Like, scaling is now advantageous for MNNE Evos.
Yep.
Because the thing about that gold lane was, it was skill-based. Like, the 1-1 for sure would have, would have a better time compared to Ixia. But now you've just given Doming AR a kill on the Ixia. MNNE Evos will just continuously scale. And we've seen this before when MNNE Evos, when they've gotten the lead in their early game and they have a scaling lineup, they just play chill. They're willing to trade, objectives, kills, just to make sure that Doming is able to sit in the gold lane and farm up. Because late game, yes, Echo does have damage and they do have capabilities in terms of team fight, but MNNE Evos, they're just better in terms of scaling.
And I don't know if you noticed that dodge there by JP, straight out from the Appraiser's Wrath. Just a little bit of a TikTok play, if you will. And I think at this point, yeah, I think we are seeing MNNE slowly get that goal, but you had to remember, 4D, Mr. 4D right here, he's not getting hunted down, like we said in the Keys to Victory. Relatively having a pretty chill time there in the XP lane.
Yeah, great job there too. Once again, Doming farming up really well. That's kind of what they have to do. Any team that drafts pretty much Ixia into their lineup, you really got to take care of it because that is going to be a main damage dealer for this game. Now the fight for the second turtle here. Already using the penalty zone. The flicker going to come through. Sanford on the run. A couple hits away. Still alive though. Able to survive. Turtle still for the taking here. Carl TZ trying to get in position. They're trying to hold him back. Brazer's Wrath comes down. He's the GOAT for a reason.
What a chat. I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised there. I mean, MNNE went full out. They went all in on that one.
I mean, they kind of misplayed it a little bit, especially with Kaizen. Oh, Benny.
Oh!
Tried so hard.
Doming.
Little bit misplaced from both sides. I mean, Kaizen could have used ult on a turtle with the retribution. Benny QD shouldn't have dived that top lane, but again, this all benefits MNNE Evos because again, the win condition of this game is that gold lane. Doming AR with the 2 kills against the 1-1. Scaling is going to become a problem here for Echo.
Yeah, and so far so good here, at least for Echo. They're getting most of the neutral objectives and most of the jungle. But in the lanes, I think MNNE are actually in the lead here, right?
Yeah, and for me, MNNE is doing what they have to do, right? This is something that we talked about. If they do the 1-for-1 trades, at least for the Turtles for now, if they can get the last one, that'd be great for them. Again, Doming having this kind of lead is great, right? He's on his way to getting back to Doming Nation. That's where he's probably going to end up on this Ixia for this game. As long as he can stay alive. Look at that.
I mean, just looking at the straightforward approach of what their lineup wants to do, right? Oh, hold that thought.
Oh, Carl TZ going to use the heavy spin. Going to find Kaizen, lock him down a little bit. JP already forcing out that Nether Realm as well. Still going to have to fight this one out. Lancey can't.
Oh, the heal!
He does with the heal, though. From Spider of Miles. Lives to fight another day.
I brought that up, man. I brought that up. You got Nether Realm as well as Florian heals for days.
Yeah.
How? How are you going to get kills here?
Can't even reduce that heal. And again, Doming secures a kill on top lane. 3-1-0. Already has a DHS. And again, MNNE Evos, they're winning all the lanes. Even though Echo is leading by 500 gold, 400 gold, it does not matter because we've seen Doming AR pull off with an amazing performance in the Ixia. And looking at the straightforward approach of what their lineups are meant to do, MNNE Evos, they will have an easier time when it comes to actual team fights.
For MNNE, it doesn't matter if you don't have the massive gold lead, as long as the gold is in the right targets.
Yep, Sanford.
Well, see if they can fight this one and secure it. Carl TZ not going to be able to get it this time. Third turtle secured here by MNNE. They're going to go for it. Pull him back with a stampede. Carl TZ could be in trouble. Going to get knocked up as well. Whittled down as they can. Appraiser's Wrath comes through. Carl TZ falls.
You really just don't want to fight prolonged team fights with MNNE right now. You are going to lose out on value each and every time just because of the Florian.
Yeah, the damage over time is insane from MNNE Evos because of the survivability and, of course, the damage coming out from the frontliners. Because the thing about Fredrin and Terizla is that they're not just meat shields, you know? They also deal huge amounts of damage, especially if you try to take out some HPs on the side of the Fredrin. He's going to be able to have insane amount of damage with the access of the ult.
I think most of the time it's going to be very apparent. I mean, later on in this game, it's going to be more apparent that you're right. The Fredrin and the Terizla, you blink and they're going to take you down.
Yep.
They're the stickiest. And then add on the fact that there is healing coming in. Makes it very difficult.
Oh, JP wanted this kill. There's the way of the dragon. Lancey will fall. That was everything thrown at him. He's back up, though. As
Can't
we
even
mentioned.
push.
Yeah. Can't push it.
Can't push, man.
Insane, too. Lancey's top of the damage meter. You know, I mean, for everybody.
Yeah, it's the bounce, you know, it's a bounce effect.
Oh, here we
Kazin.
go.
JP now going to be in trouble here. Caught out. Kazin with the return, fighting for Lancey there. They actually get another kill. Going to be working on it still on the top side here, too. Benny Cutie's got to be careful here.
Yeah.
3 members.
And this is
surrounding.
crazy because we usually see like Benny Cutie, especially with the one. Oh, hold the thought.
I
Coming.
think he's going to push
Again, the
for it.
heels.
He's gonna go for it.
He's going to go for it. There. Gets the crossbow of Tang off.
Full barrage.
Full barrage going to go. Finds Benny Cutie and he will fall. Now Carl TZ on the run. Sanford joined the fight. The 1-2 punch comes through. Domang.
Oh, the nether realm.
It's too much utility for Echo to deal with for now.
King.
Can't take me down.
King Doming at this point, protect the king for MNNE EVOS. And I was just about to explain earlier on, like, it's awkward for you to play 1-1 in this game. You can't even frontline because, yeah, you do get the procs, you get the stacks, you're able to pop off that Inspire. But the question is the damage really enough? Is the range really enough? Because you have those flickers on the targets that you want to take down for the 1-1. Like Doming has his own flicker, and you also have the heal and the saves coming out from the Nether Realm. So for Echo, the question always is this enough?
It's like they always have, it's like an onion. You have to peel and you have to peel and you have to peel until you get there.
It's like, it's not even an onion, it's like a croissant. It's just a ton of layers, man.
It's just too many layers. Oh, JP on the hunt with Away of the Dragon. They're going to get him out already. That was the Purify going to be used. Barrage going to come down, forcing Carl TZ back. He will fall, though, and Lord secured by Kazin. Now JP on the run here. Can he get out of dodge? Benny QD working on that orange buff. Should be fine. MNNE coming out strong there for that first Lord.
Yeah.
This is a MNNE that's fighting for their playoff spot right here, right now.
Come on, man. Won't you agree when I say this looks like how you Blacklist used to play? Like they just group up, protect each other. Lord JMAR actually switched up in terms of playstyle. He always goes in front. He always tries to catch Carl TZ. And this is how you destroy the Lord Dance of Echo. Just go on Carl TZ. Force the heavy spin out of the Akai. And when he does so, they fully commit. They don't let Carl TZ come near the Lord.
Basically making him unkillable as well. This lineup right now. I think with the lack of Benny Cutie, with Benny Cutie always on top, they're having a hard time finding their damage as well for Echo.
I mean, right now, biggest thing is Benny Cutie's been pretty much shut down for the most part, right? Still going to be working, though. Lord JM going to take the crossbow Tang. There's the heal. And that Nether Realm that we're talking about time and time again. Now the assault on the top lane. JP, penalty zone he goes, tries to flicker out. Should be able to survive despite that revenge strike, but they're still going to go for the tier 2.
Nether Realm was a little unnecessary coming up from Lancey, but you get the idea. Again, MNNE EVOS has insane saves. Benny Cutie can't even take down the Terizla. How are you going to protect Carl TZ from the Lords?
Yeah, so right now we're seeing a very uphill climb here for Echo so far, which I hate to say it, it's very characteristic of a lot of their first games now in recent memory.
Yeah, they have a higher lose rate in game 1s than game 2s, right?
Yep.
For Echo. But now looking at the items, Malefic Roar is going to come out from the 1-1, but again, the issue is that range factor coming out from Doming AR with the front lines that he has, the Fredrin and the Terizla. And also the slows coming out from the Corrosion side of Doming. So it's really hard for Echo to close the gap, get that backline, and even if you do get that backline, like if you have the perfect initiation with a team fight, there's a Nether Realm. So Echo, they really need to be creative with the approach of how they want to start the fights. It should come out from Sanford and in JP. The backline access, they need to assassinate those targets, and that will come to a point wherein the only problem that you have is will the damage be enough, especially against this Florin.
Right.
But at least find the creative angle first.
With a lineup like this and a Florin behind them, you have to look for the damage you need, plus add a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that's what you actually need to get these kills in your belt.
Yeah, and the issue is Echo can't even take down the Florin, because how?
He's too far away.
He does not show himself during fights. You can use Flicker Kick onto Spider-Miles because he has Purify.
Yeah.
So this has been the issue for Echo for so long. Now the kick,
JP gonna go ahead and go for Lord JM instead. That's the heal already going through.
not enough damage.
Look at his HP.
Wrong target. Oh, Sanford.
Even with the crossbow of Tang, still gonna be healthy. Now that was a lot used, right? Both teams here expending some resources. They're gonna fight for it. Inspire was also used by Benny Cutie.
Oh, nice try.
Now this Lord is up here.
That got burned. I mean, even if you use Inspire, like the presence of just these meaty frontliners from the side of MNNE Evo, especially with the heals coming out from Spider-Mons, they didn't even use the Netherrealm.
Yeah, that was just healing. And you saw the HP of Lord J was like going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like it's so funny to watch that.
Oh, Lancey.
Still gonna
Lancey.
be going for it. Sanford trying to put some pressure there all around this purple buff. Lord was being held and juggled around by Carl Teasy, and it's still going to be, hasn't reset just yet. So Kazin wants to keep it there as well. They know Lord JM's not going to be here. Sanford also up there as well.
JP.
Still, we're back to it, the Lord dance.
MNNE looks like they also did their job.
JP can go for the kick here. Lancey flickers out.
Oh, no damage.
Still going to be fine. No damage just yet. Lord still worked on. We've got Lord JM running here, battling for the Lord. Carl Teasy going to go in with a heavy spin. Comes down to the retribution. Carl Teasy gets it, but he falls. MNNE looking for something. Benny Cutie, though, now on the top side. Popping that crossbow of Tang and still couldn't get the kill on Lord JM. He's in trouble now. Top side, Benny Cutie. Gonna dodge that penalty zone. K's in there, though. Sanji trying to get here in time to help him out. Benny Cutie survives.
I think we haven't seen a 1-1 in such a long time. We forgot how slippery a 1-1 can be.
Yeah. Penalty zone didn't hit from Lord JMAR. And again, Carl Teasy stealing that Lord from MNNE Evos. Again, little misplays coming out from the players on the side of the Tigers. But Echo, they do find that creative angle that we were looking for, like the force on JP, even though the damage wasn't really enough. MNNE Evos, they lost the resources to contest that Lord.
Yeah.
Right, using up everything basically and trying to run out MNNE Evos. I love how Echo is being very creative here.
Yeah.
Like they are not facing MNNE head on.
Yep.
They're doing it in so many different ways that MNNE's having a hard time keeping up. What's Echo gonna do next? What's Echo gonna do next? That's what keeps running through their mind right now.
I think that's exactly why JP picked this Cho pick, right? Because we've seen him be very creative in terms of using the Way of the Dragon. Sometimes it's just to get one of those ultimates out. Either the Netherrealm or the heal. Lord JM gonna jump in though. Penalty zone. Not going to be able to follow up just yet. Sanford now taking run of damage, has to back out. They'll lose both inhibitor turrets, top and mid, holding on to the bottom one for now. MNNE Evos now finding their backs against the wall here.
It suddenly looks like a very different game from what we saw 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. I mean, whenever Echo is playing like aggressive like this and they hold the jungle of MNNE Evos, it becomes awkward and it becomes hard for MNNE Evos to actually reclaim those grounds because of the presence of the 1-1.
I think they still want to go here. They want to battle it out. They're going to drag them out. Carl Teasy now with a heavy spin.
Heals.
Getting out of dodge here. Another Netherrealm saving the day. Kazin now. JP will be slammed down with the Appraiser's Wrath. Full barrage can come through.
Look her out!
Cutie with the crossbow of Tang and no one falling from it. Lord JM goes down.
Man, that was that looked a little messy for a moment, but it looked like it was all part of the plan here. If you're Echo, they're selling the lead here, and now MNNE is struggling to go for the defense.
Echo, they are again finding these creative initiations against MNNE Evos. Little slip up with the Netherrealm usage. Didn't really need it for MNNE Evos. And they have to be precise with the spell casting on their side because these are the tools that you are exhausting versus the trades that you're getting out from the Echo. And whenever you don't have Netherrealm, it just amplifies the strength of this 1-1. And we saw that earlier, even though Lord JMAR was able to get out, the damage was already done. And Echo, with the damage output that they have, specifically with Sanji, throwing out those Ashel recalls, it does give a lot of playing room for Echo to kind of prolong the fight against MNNE Evos.
Ooh, win probability here. A little closer than they thought, but there you go. That's MNNE who's taking initiative this time around. Lord JM, he's looking for that initiate, but he's not really finding any targets. Don't forget, top side as well.
Okay, there's already being the pressure on the top side. We know that their inhibitor turrets are down, top and mid. MNNE's got to deal with that.
Oh,
They've got to
Benny's in
juggle
mid
this
lane.
around.
Benny's in mid lane.
Benny, we've seen him do this before. He's making his way to the top side. They send Domeng back.
Oh!
Kazin, though, somehow goes in, gets the Lord under Carl Teasy. Now he's trying to get out of dodge here, still working on it. The team's going to help him out. He's going to get locked down with a heavy
Netherrealm!
spin. There's the heal coming through. Netherrealm already going to be used as well. Can they escape this? They're firing back here. Sanford looking for an angle.
Appraiser's Wrath!
He'll fall 2 down for Echo. MNNE finding some hope plus the Lord here.
What an intense last few minutes that was.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was having a hard time keeping up with what was happening.
Kaizen, though, with the sidestep and the first skill retry to steal the Lord under the nose of Carl Teasy. JP did not expect that at all. They thought that that was for sure a guaranteed low with the heavy spin and the kick. But the dodge from Kaizen allowed this to happen. MNNE EVOS.
Now there's going to be a Lord walking up on the mid, on top side. And of course the rest of MNNE on mid. And now it's looking like it might be a difficult defense here. But of course the rest of Echo members are going to spawn up soon.
They're still going to respect even that poke damage from Sanji here, but great shift of the tide for MNNE. Now they're making their way. They want to get some of these base turrets down as well. They get the top one. JP can flicker in. It kicks the wrong way, though. Heavy spin comes down, finds a lockdown. NetherRealm to help him out. Kaizen could be in trouble.
Goodness, the heal!
But the heal is too much. He finally falls. It's JP and Kaizen down. But they're still going for it. Middle turret as well. 2 down for Echo. 1 for MNNE. And now the bases are mirrored. 1 turret up for each base of the teams.
Oh my. No marksman anymore for Echo for the next 30. And there's 2 waves pushing in for MNNE EVOS. They don't have the full barrage. They don't have their jungler. They don't have NetherRealm. However, they have the Florian heal.
Yeah, there's going to be a long 20 seconds here. Can they hold this, though?
You're going to have to go for it here, trying to hold on Echo, holding on to the base the best they can. Sanford goes in with a 1-2 punch. Carl TZ falls.
Barrage.
Full barrage going to bring Sanji to half health. He fires off. Sanford, immortality going to be popped here. He'll fall as well. Next minion wave making its way. JP and Benny Cutie will be up here.
Oh.
They're so low, taking the damage. JP jumps in. They keep him at bay. MNNE EVOS down 1, and they have to retreat. Echo stays in it.
JB comes to save the day.
Oh, they forced it, MNNE EVOS. They were impatient. Doming, he bought the winter truncheon. He was trying to dodge the knockup from the Cho, but it wasn't really on time. And MNNE EVOS, they lost their marksman. They can't go for the push. And Echo, they now are in a position where they can steal this game away from MNNE EVOS. Lord is spawning in 5 seconds. You don't have the marksman for MNNE EVOS.
And whoever's operating that win probability thingamajiggy is having a hard time right now. All right, who's actually on top here?
They're turning.
It's not apparent.
Well, right now, it's been a back and forth. Yeah, pretty much for the last 10 minutes or so. Now that we have this next Lord up as well, it'd be great if MNNE EVOS can secure this one. We've seen Kaizen do it under the nose of Carl Teasy before. Can he pull it off again?
Yeah, 21 minutes, and this could be very well the last Lord of the game. We've seen Kaizen do some pretty amazing stuff on his own. What more with the rest of MNNE right behind him right now. But again, you're fighting against Echo. Look at the bottom of the map.
Split again happening for both 1-1 and the Paquito. And they don't see this MNNE EVOS.
Forcing some backs here. But it looks like they're not really going to go for the split at all.
They get the turret, though, looks like. So now
they're
Face's
turning.
going to be exposed. JP going to jump in. He's going to be stopped, though. K's in there as well. Lord going to go ahead and reset. The pokes from Sanji. There it is.
Oh, NetherRealm.
NetherRealm already going to be used
early.
here. Very early. They've got the information. Echo might want to fight this. Also, they're still parking Benny Cutie there on the bottom side.
I guess they don't really need Benny Cutie right now on the bottom side of on the fight here on the Lord, because right now Echo's lineup, the big 4 right now here around the Lord area, looks like they can hold, and MNNE just not really quite made up their mind yet.
Yep, patience. Patience is important here for both sides. Look at the map, look at the information, don't get split by Echo. And that is also true for the Orcas here. Do not really overcommit into anything, because again, MNNE EVOS, if they decide to go for the turn, if they decide to go for the fight, they have a better time in initiations because of the range factor coming out from Doming AR.
All right, so big lull, the silence before the storm. Benny Cutie already doing some pretty strong initiations on the bottom side of the map as well. And Carl Teasy still holding on to this Lord.
There's so much pressure being put there on the bottom side, and you know they have to deal with him. I mean, both bases are exposed, so it really just depends who gets the upper hand on putting the pressure where they want to. And right now, that's Echo putting in the bottom side. Lord Jam kind of holding it down there.
Still
We
have
know-
HP.
Yeah, we know how crucial as well. His penalty zone's gonna be, JP, he's gonna be in
low.
trouble here. He's gonna be really low. Team trying to help him out. JP will survive here. Look at Sanford's positioning though. He's on the hunt. He's gonna jump in. Can he turn this around here for the fight? They're gonna break it out. JP might jump back in. Sanford takes a couple hits. He's quite low. He will fall.
Overwatch!
Overwatch gonna come down.
beautiful
Gecko in a bad position here. JP falls as well. 2 down for Echo. MNNE EVOS, Kazin. He's got to be checked as well. He has to go back. Can't commit to the Lord.
This Florian proving to be such a nuisance right now, the Echo. So many good plays that could have actually worked out if not for the Florian.
The taunt from Kazin, man. It stopped Echo from dealing any further damage to Doming AR. And again, it's always a question of do you have enough damage? But when you have saves like this, the energy eruption coming out from the Fredrin, the Netherrealm, the heals from the Florin, it's hard for Echo to focus fire onto the Iksha of MNNE EVOS.
617 on the kill score. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Man,
They,
what a bloody game.
It's been a bloodbath of a game. They should be able to get this Lord. Carl Teasy might try to pull the impossible here if he can.
4v1.
Expect
turn?
him to jump in. Actually, he's just going to be whipped down quite a bit. Goes in with a heavy spin. Going to come down to the Retribution battle. And it's Kazin that gets the Lord for MNNE. And Carl Teasy will fall as well. A big play here for MNNE.
Did he cancel the heavy spin?
I think he did at the very last, or he did get stunned or something. I actually was a little bit confused. I actually saw Sanji trying to coordinate the
Yeah, the snipe.
Retribution.
Yeah.
That was a nice try, but didn't work out in the end.
The timing as well from the energy eruption coming out from Kazin. Again, that taunt really is annoying. Even if you're in a high, if you get taunted, you can't use Retribution.
Yeah, that's huge. That's the reason why Fredrin's just so high up on the jungle boards right now.
Yeah, JP trying to delay the Lord take.
Yeah.
But without Carl DZ, MNNE EVOS, they're forcing the issue here inside the base of Echo.
Again, another really long 25 seconds here for the Orcas right now.
have a
They're
Netherrealm.
looking to defend.
Mind you, they have a Netherrealm.
Yeah, they held it together the best they can. Lord now in the base here. MNNE EVOS could close it out. Overwatch gonna come down. Benny Cutie
he got
gonna
caught.
get stunned. Wind of Nature, but the penalty zone is too much. Benny Cutie will fall. MNNE EVOS will take game number 1 as they inch closer to claiming that playoff spot.
And this winning moment is brought to you by our official sponsor, FWD Life Insurance. Now this is a MNNE that came to play. This is a MNNE that is itching, that is clawing their way towards their playoffs dream.
That's what they needed.
They played this game, I would say, near perfection.
Yeah.
With the way that they utilized their composition, but also that goal lane advantage that Doming had in the early game. That is what allowed for this game to really happen and turn it against Echo.
Yeah, the early start. Hey, we said it. As soon as he got 1, the first kill that he got, we're like, all right, that's already a big thing for the Iksha because we know Iksha takes time. Then he got 2. And then I think he got another one.
He got 3.
3.
Yeah, before he got shut down.
And we like to call him Doming Nation. For a reason.
Doming Nation, bro.
Doming Nation really paying the dividends here for MNNE EVOS. But you can also pay like a legend with Maya and MPL PH. Score your own limited edition MLBB card exclusively available on Maya.
Right there. I don't know if you guys got that. I was actually looks really. It's a customized card. By
Do you
the
have
way.
one?
It is a very, very cute card.
It's a cute card. Hope you guys got that, and I hope that you guys are ready for more, because here we go again. We're seeing Echo, as we did see in the early games. A lot of shining moments. Obviously, the potential, the championship aura is still there, right?
Yeah.
But somehow MNNE is getting the best of it.
I will say that, like Midnight mentioned, we have seen them drop game 1s, but we'll see if they adjust from this, and maybe even the roster.
Very critically, we'll find that out as we go into our analysis for this game, of course, by Midnight.
Well, adjustments are needed to be made, and in game number 1, they needed to adjust into the pacing of MNNE EVOS, because again, Doming AR really got off to a great start with the Iksha, and that just propelled MNNE EVOS into such an amazing mid-game team fighting composition wherein they are just able to outscale Echo. But the MVP of our game is going to be Kaizen AR with the Fredrin, that crucial Lord Steel. And his overall performance against Echo has been phenomenal. We discussed earlier that this is going to become a factor here, a crucial factor for the victory of MNNE EVOS, the contest on the jungle, the contest on the Lord, and how you play Lord dances. And I would say Kaizen AR really held his own against the young GOAT of Echo, namely Carl TZ. Those retributions into the early games, yes, Carl TZ did have fantastic times on stealing the turtles away from Kaizen AR, but his overall movement allowed MNNE EVOS to have a comfortable early start, and Echo was having problems when it comes to dealing with the other heroes of MNNE EVOS, because you have a lot of things to worry about. You have to worry about the pacing of the gold lane, you have to worry about the Fredrin standing in the front lines with insane heals and saves coming out from his with his teammates, and also the 1v1 matchup between Kaizen and Carl TZ. Because for Echo, it's actually not a 1v1, because MNNE EVOS, every single time Kaizen is going on to Carl TZ, there's always that backup coming out from Lord JM AR. And that was really, really hard for Echo to deal with, because again, you ask yourself the question, do we have damage? Can we actually go up against MNNE EVOS at the moment? And without any response to whatever MNNE EVOS is doing, Kaizen AR is able to do a lot of things in this game. And the amount of times that he was able to save himself, save his teammates with crucial energy eruptions, Appraiser's Wrath, the HPs coming down from the sustain, especially with the front lines of MNNE EVOS, allowed Doming AR to just constantly fight from the back lines, use the full barrage to its maximum extent with very good angles coming out from Doming AR. Echo really found it hard to deal with MNNE EVOS. Although come late game, there was that damage factor coming out from Sanji. They are able to deal well with the backlines as well because of Sanford. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really enough. If you compare the straightforward approach of these two compositions, MNNE EVOS would win more team fights than Echo just because of how their lineup works. Now, Echo, they did defend their base against Doming AR with a very crucial pickup coming out from JP. But this team fight, again, we saw the saves that Spider Miles and Lancey was able to pull off with the Netherrealm and the heals, and of course that energy eruption from Kaizen AR, allowing Doming AR to survive and unleash the onslaught of the full barrage. And the mobility factor was also removed from Echo because of the corrosion sight, and MNNE was just run them down, and they took the base with the another layer of full barrage onto Benecutie. He was able to get out of that and use the Wind of Nature, but after that, when he got baited out of position, the penalty zone was there to close out the team fight in game number 1. Now we're looking at the kill map here. It's mostly the Akai and the Cho. Because the thing with Kaizen AR is that he understands that these two are his enemies. These are the two players that will contest him in Turtles and Lord dances. Cho and Akai will always be there when the Turtle and the Lord is near 3K, 2K for the kick, for the heavy spin. But Kaizen AR, understanding this, has been able to play an amazing dance around Carl TZ and JP. Now we're going to be looking at the post-game stats here. Really interesting to see that both Kaizen and Carl TZ went for the same emblem, the firmness. Again, early game tankiness is crucial here, especially with heroes like on both sides, wherein they just scale, they don't deal that much early game damage, and this allows them to have an insane early game. But Kaizen AR, again, being a Fredrin, is able to fight more in the front lines alongside the Teresa because of the Florine factor. Now, I want to point out here, again, Doming AR with the itemization, the DHS, the corrosion sight. This is what destroyed Echo. Whenever he unleashes that full barrage, he's able to slow down Echo inside that ultimate and deal massive amounts of damage. While also Lancey AR, instead of going for the fleeting time, he went for full damage as well with the Genius Wand, the Divine Glaive, and of course the Blood Wings, allowing for more sustainability come out on the Promise. He is able to control the team fights. It's not just he is a saving tool for MNNE EVOS, but also a damage factor. And there was one point where Naisu highlighted it out, like he is topping that damage matrix coming out from MNNE EVOS. Although Echo, they had a Novaria, which again will deal more damage as the game goes later. But it was the team fight presence of MNNE EVOS that allowed them to propel their composition into such a late game monster, specifically with Doming AR having a fantastic early game with a 749 GPM on the Ixia, effectively getting the early game momentum and swinging it into a mid-game team fight victory lineup and allowing this late game to be just immense for Echo to deal with, and that is why they won game number 1.
Yeah, I have to really. I remember.
That's a swing.
Oh yeah, swing to mid-game.
And again, this is actually this is a very no frills lineup that MNNE created here. Again, no sugarcoating. It's very ube. You know?
Oh yeah, it's very straightforward.
It's the most ube I've ever seen of MNNE any team play, and it worked out so well. And again, Echo had a hard time against it, even though a lot of them had a very strong individual plays.
Ultimate Busian experience.
Ultimate
Sorry.
Busian.
Sorry.
That wouldn't be ube. That'd be like
Ubie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Of course, you know what? MPL Season 12 is also live on Smart's live stream app. Watch your favorite MPL teams battle it out. And don't miss on any of the epic power plays. Download the Smart live stream app now. It's available on your device's official app store.
Okay, my thing that also looking at that game 1, and we know we usually, Echo happens in the game 1s. They kind of like struggle in a way for some reason. But the way I look at it too is MNNE EVOS obviously learned. What I was saying before we even went into the series, they learned from what they saw from RSG, for example. They had their own spin on it, whichever way you want to call it. But also just mechanically, I mean, even lane to lane, they played really well here. And it's when you look at it in terms of where they are in the standings, it's unfortunate that the MNNE we're seeing right now today, it took them a while to get here.
Yeah.
Let's be honest,
That's
right? It took them some time to build up on what you're seeing them play against, who is still, again, they are the world champions. They're the best team right now in the season in the regular standings, and they had a phenomenal game against them, right? Even Kaizen, the MVP, was able to play very well against the GOAT, Carl
that
Teasy.
dodge.
Bro.
That dodge from the kick and the heavy spin into first skill retribution to Steel Lord. Chef's kiss.
Clean. And so that's my thing, is like, we do know the first time they met, it was a 3-game series.
Yeah.
Right now, that's why I'm wondering. For Echo specifically, if they want another 3-game series against MNNE here, how do they change that around? How do they possibly get this reverse sweep?
To be fair, that was a reverse sweep. That first time.
Yeah, the first time.
It was
It was also a game 1 loss.
Yeah, it was game 1
It was
loss.
actually something that I'm thinking right now. Like, all right, for Echo, do they have these things planned out? Like, obviously they play very well. They always play very well. But that last pick on the Wan seemed very lackluster to me.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of weaknesses on the draft of Echo. For one, I would want to highlight that Edith ban. It came out of nowhere. I respect the fact that the Edith is just strong in this meta, but MNNE EVOS, when was the last time we saw MNNE EVOS dominate with an Edith? So it felt like an awkward ban from Echo. And again, you pointed it out, the 1-1 pick, the idea was there, like the lane matchup, it was okay for Benny Cutie, but you were playing into a lineup that can actually deal with the 1-1 front line. And we mentioned that earlier on, where suddenly there will come a point in the game where the 1-1 game will become awkward because of the last pick promise as well.
Yeah,
and
saw that so many times.
Yeah, we said it, like the last 10 seconds we were saying promise. They popped out, and conceptually speaking, you cannot touch the lineup of MNNE EVOS. Again, with just straightforward approaches, it's hard for Echo to play that composition in game number 1, specifically against the lineup of MNNE EVOS.
I'll add to that, because Lancy, I heard you guys say so many times, wait, that's too early, that Farams was too early. It didn't even need to be played perfectly.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how strong the lineup was.
It's so easy to play.
Like that is what better composition gives you. Like more playing room, more room for error. Because conceptually, again, it's just hard for Echo to sort of play into to MNNE EVOS. Because the thing is, you have to force out those errors.
Yeah,
you have to think about how do we actually engage? How do we not mess this up? And that kind of messes up with your gameplay, because instead of pressing buttons, you're thinking of so many